This video is made possible by our sponsors, AJA. We'd like to thank AJA for all their support and tell you to go to aja.com for all your production and post-production needs. Hi, I'm Gordon Brickell from Filmmaker U. At Filmmaker U, we create courses for film professionals to deepen and diversify your existing skill set. You can learn more every week at filmmakeru.com, or of course follow us on Twitter at filmmaker_u. Every week we interview film professionals to discuss their work, and this week I'm joined by producer Jason Baum, whose work includes numerous music videos, as well as long form such as Black is King, Aziz Ansari's Right Now, and the Beastie Boys Story, just to name a few. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you.
It's great to meet you. I want to know which industry did you start in first? Is it music or film? And then what is this like? How do you bridge these two? Because you seem to be jumping back and forth and sort of creating a world for yourself.
Yeah, I kind of fell into the music industry by making music videos, really. I was looking for a place to intern when I was in college over the summer. And, I just wanted to work at a place that I thought was cool and was doing interesting things. And being young, I really loved music videos at that time. And it was still like when music videos were on TV, on MTV and VH1. So I just reached out to a bunch of production companies, and the music video companies are the ones that kind of took me, and that kind of set me on this path. And since then, I've just been trying to move back into narrative. And so it's been a slow process, but it started in music videos.
So now, when you're working in, like music videos or the long form music projects you've done, like, how do you get involved? Let's start with the music videos, I guess. Do the artists search you out, or are you working with the studios? Like, how does that work? And you get working with the teams?
Yeah, in a quick sort of workflow scenario, usually a record label reaches out to a director for treatment. That director normally has representation at a production company, and it's usually the production company or the director that looks for a producer and brings me into the conversation. So it's rare that it starts with the artist, but after doing this for so long, sometimes record labels request me, or I might also be bidding the job with multiple directors. So yeah, it can happen a couple different ways.
So how do you not psych yourself out when you're working with like Beyonce or Kendrick Lamar or the Beastie Boys? Like, how do you stay focused and make sure you're not distracted, I guess?
I mean, I think it's like working with any celebrity. You just have to try and remember that they're normal people and kind of take your conceptions of them out the door, and just try not to let it get the best of you. I mean, I've been thankful that I can work with a lot of people that I admire and think are amazing artists. So yeah, it's just kind of taking a deep breath and pretending like you don't know everything about their lives, or so you think.
Is there an artist that you would love to work with that you haven't yet?
Yeah, there's plenty of musicians that I would still like to click that box. I love big pop videos, and I haven't done a Katy Perry video. I've worked with Taylor Swift, but not in a music video context. I did some tour visuals for her. So those are like some two big pop artists, I would say. But also what really inspired me to get into music videos was a lot of like music, Missy Elliott music videos. So, waiting for her to come back and wanting to do something.
Now, when you get into like long form, like the Beastie Boys documentary, how did you get involved with that project and get going on that?
Yeah, that was sort of similar. It was through I had met Spike Jonze we were trying to make something small, a music video that didn't pan out, but we did the Aziz Ansari stand-up special, and kind of from there he was like, well, I'm also working on this project for the Beastie Boys, do you want to join? And it was Spike that brought me in. Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt this interview for 1 second. We want to thank PixelView, one of our sponsors. They're a streaming solution for filmmakers. PixelView lets you stream your work to remote clients for easy collaboration, and it works with both on-set teams and post-production teams. With built-in video chat, you can discuss and make changes in real time and stream directly from your editing software. Or you can use the hardware encoder to stream from DaVinci Resolve or the camera on set. See the promo code and the link in the video description below. As a producer, what were some of the challenges on the Beastie Boys story?
Well, it's really about trying to dive into a visual archive for an artist that, has been around for such a long time. So, and had gone through, media has changed so much since they started as a band in the 80s. So it was really the organization and research because, they're older guys. They don't remember who was around back when they were teenagers. So tracking down photographers and trying to find appearances. It's really just trying to support the research aspect of it and trying to get everything cleared because, a lot of the people that they worked with as kids are famous photographers now, and they weren't anything at that time.
What, was there something you guys discovered about them that you found really interesting but couldn't make it into the doc?
There's definitely a couple things on the cutting room floor. It's mainly, stories, little asides. They like to pepper things with, humorous details of things. So, there's but a lot of it's in their book. It started with them making the Beastie Boys book. So a lot of it's in there. So it's not necessarily unknown, but one of the stories that comes to mind that we cut out of the doc was their meeting of Bob Dylan at a Dolly Parton party. That's a real fun one. There's a small little clip in the outtakes from it, but that's probably the most memorable. There's also, we had a whole different opening sequence. It's called The Ring, which is a really poignant story. So we released that as a small little short on YouTube, so you can check that out there.
Okay. Now, you've moved into more fiction now with the Seven Faces of Jane. Now, when did you get involved with that production? Was it in the script phase? Was it already starting to roll? How did you get involved?
So the Seven Faces of Jane is an interesting project because it didn't start with the script. For anyone that's not familiar, it's a film based on the concept of exquisite corpse, which is essentially telling you that there were 8 different directors that were working independently of each other, and they were sharing one main character. So how I came involved in it is Roman Coppola was the main producer and then kind of was the brainchild for this project, and he always wanted to make a film using an exquisite corpse concept. And I had been doing a lot of work for his production company called the Directors Bureau. And since I've been doing a lot of work with them, and a lot of the directors that were in his immediate circle were people that I worked with in the past or knew. So I was kind of the natural fit to bring it to life.
What were some of the challenges? Because that having 8 directors, I feel like that
challenge.
Yeah, it's taking everything in different directions. So, how did you tackle that?
Try to stay back and not get too precious about it in a way. Really, it was a game for the entire crew, which was kind of a unique, fun experience, or sometimes fun experience, where we had the privilege of knowing it was the same DP, same production designer, costumes. So there's a bunch of us that had a consistency throughout the project, but so we knew what everyone else was doing, and it was our instructions not to tell anyone, any of the directors, what other directors are up to, and just kind of support what they wanted to do. But yeah, it was kind of like doing a TV show in a way, because you had all these directors, you had essentially episodes shot out of order. So yeah, it was a organizational challenge for sure.
Now, you've had this really interesting career of, music videos, documentaries, now in fiction. Is there a particular piece of media, I guess is the best way, because you've done so many different ones, that you're really proud of, but was really difficult to sort of get made?
I mean, I think everything's hard to get made. There, nothing ever happens easily. But yeah, I try to approach all the work that I take on as, is it something that I would want to watch? Because making something is so hard and difficult, and requires so much time, and to make the stress worth it, you have to make sure it's something that you would actually, feel proud of. So yeah, I don't know if there's one thing more than another, but yeah, everything takes a lot of hard work, I guess.
And you're also a director, so is there a particular like type of story or type of film that you want to make?
Yeah, I mean, as a director or as a producer, there's plenty of stories that I find interesting, and I think the beauty of filmmaking and art, I guess, is to be able to like step into someone else's experience and really like see their life through an interesting lens. And then the next step above that is being able to connect to it and realize that you're just as much like them, even though they live such a different life than you. So I think I kind of apply that to most of the narrative work that I do. But yeah, there's plenty of stories that I would still love to tell. Yeah.
Now I have one last question for you. What would you say is your favorite guilty pleasure film or TV show to watch?
Oof. There's a couple that come to mind, but I would say up there it would be a toss between like Jurassic Park and Con Air. If either of those two movies are on like in the background, like if I have the TV on the background and it's playing, like I can't help myself. I have to watch it. Those are like amazing films that I think I've seen like 10 times as a child.
What's next for you in your production?
There's a film I'm trying to make this year. There's definitely there's probably going to be a couple music videos and commercials that I'm being a part of. But yeah, I think the main goal for this year is trying to make another movie.
Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks. And that's it for this week, everyone. Make sure to check us out at filmmakeru.com or, of course, on Twitter at filmmaker_u. I'm Gordon Burkell. Thanks for watching. This video is made possible by our sponsors, AJA. We'd like to thank AJA for all their support and tell you to go to aja.com for all your production and post-production needs.